Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm David Riggleman, Communications Director for the City of Las Vegas. Coming up on this show, a boulder is placed at Police Memorial Park in honor of fallen officer Charleston Hartfield. And Summer Splash is back, finally. Here to talk about these stories and more is the councilman who represents Ward 4, Stavros Anthony. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me, David.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Just busy.
I know.
A lot of things going on, but they're all some great things going on in the city of Las Vegas.
Yeah. We have a packed show today we're going to tell everybody about, but in case you're not exactly sure where Ward 4 is located, no fear. We're going to show you. He knows it well. You may not. It's in the northwest area. It's just north of the Rainbow Curve there. If you live in this area, work in that area, you're in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. It's basically the area north of Lake Mead, kind of south of Alexander, but you've got a little finger that goes up to Ann Road and even sticks out east of US 95 there too a little bit. So anyway, that's Ward 4.
Includes Painted Desert, Desert Shores, Sun City, Summerlin, Rancho Altamira, and a lot of smaller associations in Ward 4. So I have a lot of associations that really take care of their neighborhood pretty well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It also includes Police Memorial Park, and that's where we're going to start today. Fittingly, this is Police Memorial Month, correct, Councilman?
National Law Enforcement Memorial
Month,
correct.
Exactly. And so you tweeted this out: honored to dedicate a boulder at Police Memorial Park to Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Officer Hartfield, who died during the October 1 shooting. And he was one of the 58 that we lost. But you had a very fitting ceremony for him that took place back on April 27th, where we added his name to our memorial out at Police Memorial Park.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about the city of Las Vegas. We've dedicated a park to our officers that have died in the line of duty. We have a stone with their name etched for every single officer on a federal, state, and local level. And Officer Hartfield died during the October 1 mass shooting, and it was deemed in the line of duty death. So we have a rock. We had the Police Memorial Foundation come out. That's Greg Langley, the family. There's the family of Officer Hartfield, and we dedicated a stone with his name on it. And it was a very solemn event, but the family members know and they understand that we're going to remember their father and their husband for being a member of law enforcement that gave their life to protect this community. And it was wonderful to meet his family and let them know that we remember Officer Hartfield, and his stone will be out there forever for people to come by and remember him.
He was attending the concert like so many others, but when the shooting started, he just went to do what he always does. He sprang into action as a police officer, tried to help people, and in the process of doing that was also one of the people that was killed. So, tragic story, because he had obviously given his life. He could have probably gotten away had he done that, but what he did is he stayed behind to help others.
He did. He decided to do what he was sworn to do, and that's protect others. And unfortunately, he gave his life, but we're going to remember him for how he lived and what he died for. And it was nice to have the family members out there to dedicate the rock. And just want to thank the Law Enforcement Foundation for stepping up and helping us do these sort of things and keeping an eye on the park for us and making sure that that row of trees and rocks is kept up. So thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah. And to his family out there, boy, our hearts really go out to.
Yes.
We saw his wife and kids, and it's just it's the whole event. It just brings back that bad day back in October. But like you said, Councilman, he was honored for the hero that he was that day, and I'm glad for that.
That's
we
true.
all are. So,
yep.
Of course, Councilman, it doesn't always stop there. We do a beautiful ceremony every year to mark fallen officers. We have that out at Police Memorial Park, and you saw the rocks that have their names, the officers' names on it. We also have a monument. And on that monument, the officers' names are also engraved. And the monument is beautiful. If you've never seen it out there, it is a very fitting tribute to those that we've lost in the line of duty. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of art.
Well, like you mentioned, this is a National Law Enforcement Memorial Month. So in Washington, D.C., there's the National Law Enforcement Memorial, and there's a ceremony that's held out there every year.
Took place on May 15th,
yeah,
right?
Just happened. And then there's a ceremony on the state level up in Carson City, where the governor attends, and we remember officers that have died in the line of duty as a state level. And here in Southern Nevada, we have the ceremony every year where it's held at Police Memorial Park. It was very well attended. We had some great speakers, but the most important thing is that we recite the names of every single officer on the federal, state, and local level since day one that has died in the line of duty. So that's what the memorial's all about. It's held at Police Memorial Park, and we just take the time to read every single one of their names and let the family come up and put a rose. We put a rose in a little vase, and we remember their names. And it's hopefully you came out this year and attended it. It's just something that we do every year because we want their memories to be eternal, and because they made the ultimate sacrifice. And every single officer in this community understands that that could happen to them, but they still do it. They still go out there and be the warrior that they are. But the ones that die in the line of duty, we're going to remember them, and that's what we've done at the Southern Nevada Law Enforcement Memorial Ceremony. Yeah. It's a wonderful event. I would never miss it.
You know, Councilman, one of the things that's always very touching to me is at that event every year, family members of officers who've died many, many years ago still come out.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. They still come out, and they appreciate that we remember their names. So we just had that ceremony recently, and we'll do it again next year, and we'll do it in perpetuity because that's what we do in law enforcement. We remember those that have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Councilman, I think people know this, but if you don't, Councilman Anthony retired from Metro, 29 years with the police force here, retired as a captain, so all this hits very close to home to him, and it's fitting, I think, that Police Memorial Park is in your ward. After.
Yeah, and some of those officers I knew personally, you know, and it's heartbreaking to you know, say their name because you know we've lost them, but what you start thinking about is what they did when they were living, you know, what they did, and they were coaches and they took care of kids, and the things they did off duty were just as important as the things they did on duty, and you kind of start remembering those things, and you start remembering the great people that they were. Right. So it's quite an event.
Well, one of the people I know that you knew is Mark Carey. There's an elementary school named after Mark Carey here in Las Vegas. He was a police officer killed in the line of duty back in the 90s, Councilman, and he was somebody you knew personally. And we marked Mark Carey Day out at Mark Carey Elementary. It took place on May 18th, Friday, May 18th. Tell us about that.
Yeah, actually, I believe it was 1987, and I was on duty at the time, and Mark Carey was a motorcycle officer, and they were chasing down a domestic violence offender, and he was following a vehicle, and the vehicle just stopped and turned around and shot him to death. Didn't even get a chance to defend himself, and it was a heart-wrenching month when that happened. But the Clark County School District stepped up and they named a school after him, and it happens to be in my ward, Mark Carey Elementary School, and they have this Mark Carey Day. And again, if you were out there, it's also a law enforcement appreciation day because we have law enforcement officers from all the different jurisdictions come out, and they do a parade, and the kids get to see the officers and interact with them and find out they're actually real people, you know, that are out there, and we appreciate, you know, and we tell the officers we appreciate what they do every single day. But we get to remember Mark Carey. His family shows up every year. They're out there, and it's great just to say his name on a regular basis because you remember what a great guy he was.
31 years later.
Yeah. So it was. It's Mark Carey Day. So if you miss this year, again, come out next year, and the entire public can come out, and it's quite a parade. The kids get a kick out of the parade, and they do a dog canine demonstration, and the helicopters there. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then you do something similar, I think, at Ernest May, too. You tweeted this out. You said, attending and speaking at the Law Enforcement Appreciation Ceremony held at Ernest May Elementary School. It's kind of the same thing. You get a little feel for talking to the kids. Hopefully they'll appreciate the importance of law enforcement and the sacrifice that law enforcement makes for the whole community. There's a little parade there of motorcycles.
Yeah, Ernest May was the first law enforcement officer killed in the line of duty. I don't recall the exact year, but it was quite a while ago. And again, we have a school named after him, honored at the schools in my ward, and they started this about 5 years ago, where they have Ernest May Day, and it was just fun to be out there and talk to the kids and make sure they understand who the school is named after, that this is a very special person, and we appreciate the officers that come out and tell them we're thinking about them. So these are just great events, all these events that happen in the city of Las Vegas, and this community is so supportive of law enforcement. It just amazes me that this community just spends the amount of time that they do to remember the officers every single day that go to work and the officers that have made the ultimate sacrifice. I'm very proud of the city of Las Vegas for what they do for our law enforcement community.
Yeah. I think Las Vegas has worked very hard, both from the police side of things and the community side of things, to bridge that gap. So many communities, there's such strife between law enforcement and the community. But in Las Vegas, we haven't really seen that type of thing, because I think Metro and our own marshals have worked hard to partner with the community and vice versa. There's been a lot of dialogue, a lot of communication between each group, and it's paid dividends.
Yeah, it's called community policing, and Metro and most of just about all the agencies in Southern Nevada started it many years ago, and our residents get to speak to our police officers on a regular basis, one-on-one. So when they know our police officers, or interact with our marshals on a regular, they understand that they're people just trying to protect this community, so we don't get these situations where the community and the police don't trust each other, because we're constantly working together.
Right.
So hats off to all the law enforcement agencies in Southern Nevada who do that, and it's paid dividends. Absolutely.
It really has.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Metro Police out in your ward and all the wards on the first Tuesday of every month have what's known as First Tuesday,
Correct.
where you can go out, talk to the people in charge of that substation, that area command. You can talk to the officers out there, meet some of them, talk about issues within your neighborhood. And it gets that communications, like you're talking about, between the police and the community going, and you realize, they're people just like we are.
And I have coffee with a cop and a councilman.
Yeah, right.
But the most important thing, if I call up our city marshals, if I call up Metro and ask them to come to a neighborhood event to talk to neighbors, they always show up. They never turn you down. They are ready to come out and speak to neighbors and residents about what's happening in their neighborhood, and that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So we need to keep that up.
All right. Well, good job all the way around, Councilman, with marking these important events over the month of May. But it's not all about law enforcement in your ward. You also do shout-outs for the teachers. You do a great event every year called Feature a Teacher. This took place back on May 15th. And you've been doing this for a number of years now, I think 7, 8 years, something like that. And the idea is to honor the top teachers at all the schools in your ward, right? Yeah,
so it was about 8 years ago, and I'm visiting the elementary and middle schools in my ward, and I'm meeting some great principals and students and parents and teachers, and I decided, why not recognize the teachers and show them that we appreciate what they do. So teachers, police officers, firefighters, they're always kind of thrown in the mix and all this stuff. So I've decided to recognize the teachers during this teacher appreciation time. Mm-hmm. So we partner up with the Clark County School District, and every single school in my ward selects their teacher. It's actually the students to do it.
Yeah. And it was at Sheila Tarr Elementary, but you rotate. It moves from school to school every year, right?
Gerheim Elementary School was Miss Michelle Cox. Cary Elementary School was Miss Teresa Nelson. Eisenberg Elementary School was Miss Gina White. Tarr Academy of International Studies, Miss Terry Jordan Hicks. May Elementary School was Miss Anissa Stewart. Levitt Middle School, Miss Angie Manzaranis. Becker Middle School, Miss Kalini Barber. Mulaski Middle School, Miss Shavonda Gates, Lummis Middle School, Miss Ann Crum, the Founders Academy, Miss Beth Lang, and Somerset Academy, Lone Mountain, Miss Khalil Stewart. So congratulations. They were all selected by their school and by their students, and I just got to recognize them. That's awesome. With a nice certificate and a little plaque that we give them, and the ceremony that we had, and we have cake at the end. And
their families come out. It's a big deal.
And the teachers can brag to the other teachers. They were the ones selected that year. So
that's right.
We're going to do it again next year. So we'll just let you know when we're doing it again next year, and we'll pick some other teachers.
Looking forward.
Thank you, teachers, for everything you do to mentor our kids and give them what I think is they just give them a great education.
And thanks to the students for taking the time to call out their teacher, give them a shout out, and give them some kudos that much deserved, I'm sure, too. So, and then Councilman didn't stop there. Something you've also done, great tradition. You do the Great American Pride Award. You have students from elementary schools. I think they're third graders, Councilman?
Fifth graders.
Fifth graders.
Yep.
Fifth graders from the different schools in your ward. And they come in and they have to know a variety of things, right? They have to know the Gettysburg Address, preamble to the Constitution, all 4 verses of the national anthem, a few other things in there. They've got to memorize all these things, and then you always honor them for doing all that extra work, and then they usually recite something or do something while they're at council.
Like I think it was 5 years ago, I found out about this program, the Great American Pride program, and it's voluntary. The schools can do it if they want. The teachers can do it if they want. The students obviously are volunteering to do this, and they go through this. It's extra work that they don't have to do. But as you mentioned, they write the Pledge of Allegiance. They recite the preamble of the Constitution. They recite the Star Spangled Banner. Recite all 50 states and capitals in alphabetical order. They recite 44 United States presidents in chronological order. And every year I bring them down to our city council, and we recognize them. We had them in our chambers, and we make them recite the Gettysburg Address, and it's 6 classes. And to see all these students reciting the Gettysburg Address all at the same time, but luckily it's the shortest speech ever written by anyone, so
thank you, Abraham Lincoln. Right.
It doesn't take a lot.
Right.
But to see them, it kind of gives you goosebumps seeing them do that. And again, it's Ruth Deskin is one of the schools. Mountain View Lutheran has 2 schools. Middle School has 3 classes, and Gearheim has 1 class.
That's great.
And we had them completely packed the city council. And once they're done, every single student received a certificate with their name on it, and then we give them a tour of City Hall. And in fact, they toured your facility.
Yeah, of course. We want them to see Channel 2 here,
And it's just, I've been doing it every year, and it's just a lot of fun.
Good deal.
I enjoy it.
Well, good deal. It's a great thing, and kudos to the kids. It's a lot of things to memorize, and as Councilman said, they do this on their own time. They do it outside of regular school time. And they come through every year. It's not like 5 or 6 kids from each class. Seems like it's the whole class that gets involed. So
I would just like to get to the B's on the state capitals,
right?
instead of all of them.
Right, I know, pretty good. That's pretty good to know all that stuff. And then, Councilman, I love this. You kind of kept the patriotism going here. On May 12th, you got with the Daughters of the American Revolution. They had their 26th annual flag retirement ceremony. This comes up. People don't know what to do. You fly an American flag, or you've got an old American flag, it gets tattered, it's fallen apart. What do you do with it? And this is a ceremony to dispose of it properly, right?
Right. It was started around 26 years ago by the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Valley Fire chapter, and it is really more of an educational program, as you mentioned. They have the ceremony every year to let people know exactly how to dispose of an old flag, and you're supposed to burn them. You fold them up, and you burn them, and that's how you dispose of them. But it's quite a ceremony. It happened out in Boulder City, and talk about the importance of the flag and why it's important to dispose of it correctly. What's the importance of the history? We had the Boy Scouts come out. We had the Honor Guard from high school come out. There were a lot of veterans that came out, a lot of current active duty members that came out, just because that's what these veterans fought in these wars for. That's what our our active duty members fought for, and that's what a lot of these veterans died for is the American flag. So you can't be trampling on it. You can't be destroying it. You have to fly it properly, and you have to dispose of it properly.
Right. It's about respect. Really, at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
all about respecting the flag and what it stands for. It really stands for all of us.
Right. And just hats off to the Daughters of the American Revolution for putting this ceremony together and inviting me to come out and say a few words and learn how to dispose of a flag correctly. It's a really nice ceremony. So it's in Boulder City. It's a little far from Las Vegas, but come out anyway.
Yeah, good stuff. Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, they do the same thing. Different organizations have these little ceremonies, and you've got a flag, you don't know what to do with it, it's kind of all fallen apart and dilapidated. Reach out to one of them, they'll help you out. They'll help you figure out what to do with it. Exactly.
In fact, the Fire Station 107 up in Sun City, Summerlin has a box out in front that was built by an Eagle Scout. That is a place where you can take a flag and put it in the box, and the fire department will dispose of it properly.
Exactly.
So if you happen to have a flag, and
good reminder,
just swing by Fire Station 107. It's right in Sun City, Summerlin. Put it in that box, and it will be taken care of appropriately.
Very good. Good reminder. That's good, Councilman. Good job. And speaking of history, our city is now 113 years old. Hard to believe. May 15th, 1905 was the birthday. And of course, the weekend prior to that, we had the El Dorado Parade to mark it like we do every year. And downtown Las Vegas lit up again with the parade bright and early that day. 10 o'clock it kicked off, and great crowd, great weather that day.
A lot of people came out, and it's it's just a lot of. I mean, who doesn't want to go to a parade? And it's the cowboy themed parade, and yeah, it was like you said, it was a beautiful day out, and people had a great time in downtown Las Vegas, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had October 1 survivors also were in the parade. You can see they're getting a big hand from people there that they came out and marched in the parade as well. We had, of course, we lost 58, but thank God we had many survive. So it's a little bit of everything in the El Dorado Parade. You know, you got Civil War guys, you got people on skates. So
it's supposed to be fun.
It is. It is. If you've never been, it's always going to be right in the middle of May, right around the 15th, either the weekend before, the weekend after, to mark the city's birthday. So very good. Good stuff all the way around. And then, Councilman, that weekend prior was Cinco de Mayo. It was on May 5th. But we kept the party going. Kept the party going because the big party for you and Councilwoman Fiore out at Centennial Hills Park was actually May 6th, the following day. In fact, you tweeted this out. You said, "Happy Cinco de Mayo" in the city of Las Vegas. And our theme was, we're going to keep the party going into May 6th. There's you with Councilwoman Fiore. You get a band there. You had a mariachi band from Mexico come in, and you had a huge turnout. It was just basically just a big party out there, and really a concert, too.
Yeah, it was the first time Councilwoman Fiore and I put this together. It was out in the amphitheater at one of her community events in Ward 6, and the mariachi band that they brought in from California, the professional one, were absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And then you saw a picture of a high school mariachi band. They were absolutely wonderful, and it was a beautiful evening, and the music was great, and the singing was great, and we had Mexican food, and we had beer out there, which was kind of nice. You really can't eat Mexican food without beer.
No,
you can't eat Greek food without beer either. Right. So, but it was a lot of fun. It was a great event, but the music was unbelievable. These musicians and these mariachi bands were spot on, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. So we'll probably do it again next year, and come on out. Maybe we'll add tequila next year.
All right, who knows? Look out, look out. But
it's a city park, so we got to be a little bit careful about that.
Well, good event all the way around. It's nice that you guys partnered too. Ward 6 and Ward 4 right next to each other up there in the Northwest. So you guys got together and turned it into an event.
NB Energy helped us out, and Republic Services, AMR, the Plaza. So it was a good community effort, and the people that came out had a wonderful time.
Yeah, very good, very good. Councilman, I love this because you guys, when you schedule an event, no matter what it is, people turn out in droves. For example, you tweeted this out, hundreds of people coming out for my free shredding event in Desert Shores. This tears me up because you started this at the city, these shredding events, get rid of personal documents so you don't fall victim to identity theft. And you've really started a trend. We do these in all the wards now, and the number of people that turn out is just, it's phenomenal. They line up an hour before, 2 hours before.
Yeah, the event started at 10 and people were lined up at 9 o'clock. So, but people are starting to realize this is a big deal.
Yeah,
you know, you
for
have
sure.
they're not showing up with a little bag of paperwork. They're showing up with 4 or 5 boxes that you can't shred in one of these little shredders.
No.
They show up. They don't have to get out of the car. Our staff takes care of it. The shredding company takes care of it, and they know it's safely disposed of, and they're not going to be a victim of identity theft. And people have to feel good about that, and they know that it's going to be taken care of at these events. So I don't care how many people show up. We're going to take care of you. So look out for the next one.
Yeah, we do them all across the city, so just check out the city's website, lasvegasnevada.gov, and there's going to be a shredding event coming up somewhere, I'm sure. It seems like tax time always generates a lot of response to that, too. Yeah, we got a lot of people come with all their old tax documents, which are good to shred because they got your social security number on there and address and everything else. So, yeah, you want to take care of that properly. And then, Councilman, we're running out of time here, but we want to tell everybody you got a couple of nice events coming up that we want to mention to everyone. Your Summer Splash, June 2nd. Didn't we just do this? It seems like we just did this last time around. It's already been a year. Yeah,
but summer doesn't start until we do Summer Splash in Ward 4. So it's, there's it said Durango Hills Y. There's a date and time, and it's free. You come out, you can enjoy swimming at the Durango Hills Y. The pool there is absolutely awesome. And we'll have food and a DJ, and you get to visit the Y, and that may be a place you want to put your kids for the summer. They have some great activities there.
Yeah, do we mention it's free?
And it is free.
That's a good thing. Yeah, come on out. Your tax dollars help pay for it, so enjoy them. And then, Councilman, we've got less than a minute here to go. We want to mention for the Desert Shores folks, for you Desert Shores residents, we're doing a movie in the park out there, Justice League, Friday, June 22nd, 7 o'clock, or, when it gets dark. But again, this is just for folks that live at Desert Shores.
Yeah, the master plan communities, I have the big ones. We do specific events in those particular areas. So we do have this movie in the Desert Shores. So if you live in Desert Shores, come out. It's in the Lagoon area. I haven't seen the movie, but I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it that night with everyone. But yeah, come out and enjoy it. And again, it's all free.
And don't worry, if you don't live in Desert Shores, we do events for everybody else too, so your turn will come.
Right.
so don't worry.
We do a lot of movies in the park in the city
Everything
of
will be
Las
all right.
Vegas. So
Exactly.
you'll find one, believe me.
Right. Well, Councilman, we want to tell everybody out there, we always want to hear from you. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilman Anthony, you can find him on Facebook and Twitter. You saw he was very active on social media. And if you leave a comment, we may use your post on our next show. We'd love to hear from you. And you can also contact the Councilman at 702-229-6405 or send him an email. His address is santhony@lasvegasnevada.gov. Great job.
Great, very good. Yeah, a lot of great stuff, and I'll be back the next
6
time I'm
weeks,
back,
yeah.
and we'll have a lot of other things to talk about.
I know we will. It's been busy out in Ward 4. Great job. We'll talk to you next time around. And we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Access City Council. Don't miss our next show beginning on May 31st with Ward 2 City Councilman Steve Soroka. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around.